Hello, manifestors. It's Tarkan back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about an idea that I tend to use. And I may have spoken about this before in other videos or touched upon this idea. I certainly touch upon it a lot in my coaching practice. So I figured it would be a good idea to do a video about this topic specifically. And it really is just a simple way, maybe a metaphor, if that's what you want to call it, or an analogy, or whatever you call it, to understand the very basic manifesting process. And I think that, hopefully after you hear this, after I explain this in the way that I like to explain it, it'll give you a much better understanding of just how this stuff works, because, we try to overthink things so much. And really, guys, it's true that manifesting is an incredibly simple process. And the reason that a lot of people don't seem to really clinch it or get it down pat, especially when you're first learning about this stuff, is because you're still too focused on making things happen yourself. That, coupled with this sense of urgency that we have about our most desired dreams, outcomes, or we see them as being very unattainable or very large or very big, which of course is resistance. What that comes down to is your idea and your belief that you can't do it. It's too big, it's too impossible. There's all these things in the way. How am I ever going to get over those? What do I need to do? You're still stuck in the idea that you need to do something all the time to make things happen, rather than relaxing and allowing things to happen, which of course is vital for manifesting. But understand, and also, the time factor, people thinking they're running out of time. You need to get rid of that idea altogether. Remember this, it's not about time, it's about timing. That's all it's about, okay? You want this thing in the perfect timing. So just forget the whole idea of time altogether, but maybe that's a subject for another video. What I want to really explain to you right now is a very simple way to look at the manifesting process that I hope that your mind will be able to accept and look at and go, oh, wow, it's so simple. How did I not see how simple it was to begin with? I always say this, okay, and I'm going to say it again. What you want already exists. In other words, the moment that you conceive of the desire, the moment that you conceive of the desired outcome that you prefer, the preferred outcome, it exists out there in that ether, all right? That infinite field of possibilities. In other words, every possible outcome already exists in the universe. Now, it's sort of like, consider it maybe being kind of frozen in a state of suspension, waiting for you to activate it. And the way you activate it, of course, is with your positive focus upon it. But here's another way to look at things, okay? So let's take that sort of foggy, mist-like state, in which your desired outcome already exists, that in the field of infinite possibilities, waiting for you to activate it with your focus, with your mind, with your conscious awareness of it. Let's look at this through the different stages of water. Okay, so if you look at your desire, whatever your desire may be, it really doesn't matter what it is, guys, okay? However big or small you think it is, to the universe, remember, it's all the same, okay? A button and a castle are just as easy to manifest from the universe's perspective, as anything else. So one isn't bigger or more difficult or more complicated than the other, not from the perspective of higher consciousness. Only from your monkey mind perspective is one thing more difficult or impossible to manifest than another, because you're placing limitations on things, because you're trapped in this idea of the limitation of time, and also this idea that, one thing is harder than the other, or that one thing is more important to you than the other. In other words, if something is more important to you than another thing, you will experience a little more difficulty manifesting it, as long as you place that higher importance on that thing. You gotta make the castle as important to you as the button, and you'll get the castle, okay? But again, I digress. So let's consider that once your desire, that you conceive of it, and remember, the way that you conceive of a desire, the way a desire is even born to begin with, is through challenging situations that you live through, okay? You live through, say, situation X, and you don't like it. So right away, you're conceiving of situation Y, which is the opposite of situation X, and therefore situation Y in that moment becomes created in that infinite field of possibilities as a possible outcome, just waiting for you to choose it. So at that stage, it's almost like saying that at this point, your outcome, your desire, is like steam, is like water in the steam stage. It's out there. It's sort of hanging in the air, if you will, in that foggy, steam-like kind of state. And but you can't grasp it yet. You can maybe see it a little bit. You know, with your eyes, you can see steam, but you can't grasp steam. You can't put it in your pocket. You can't hold it in your hand. Okay. It's just not that solid yet. And of course, what you want, ultimately, when you say you want to manifest something, is you want to be able to see it, feel it, hear it, taste it, touch it, a solid object, and again, for another video, nothing is really solid, okay, guys? But it'll be solid in terms of how you perceive it, okay? So as you sort of, as you formulate a desire, there it is in that steam state. Now, what happens when you cool the water off a little bit? It starts to solidify more. Okay, so then what you do is, as you focus more positively on that outcome and you begin to assume that that outcome already exists for you. In other words, as you accept that it exists in your mind and as you begin to carry yourself, as you begin to feel and speak and walk and talk as if your desired outcome already existed, you are now causing it to start to solidify into matter, okay? So now you're moving that thing from a steam state into a liquid state. But again, liquid, you can put it in a cup, you can drink it kind of thing. You can see it, you can run your hands through it, splash it on your face, but it's still not really solid, but it's sort of there. I would say that this is the stage at which you are seeing signs. But of course, remember, the first sign that you are moving in the right direction is how you feel about it, how you feel in general. Okay, if you're feeling happier, if you're feeling more happy-go-lucky, if you're sort of, you still want the thing that you want, but you're not so concerned about it happening right now. You're like, okay, I know it'll happen in good time, right? In the perfect timing. And meanwhile, I'm just going to go about my life. And I know that it's being put together. I know that it's coming together because I can see it now in that liquid water state. I get a lot of questions about signs, and I've answered quite a few of those. But this is another way to look at those, okay? Now, I've literally explained signs as being literally like road signs. It doesn't mean you've arrived at your destination yet. It's just telling you here you are heading in the direction of your destination, okay? You're on the right path. That's what those signs are. But another way to look at it in terms of this particular example that I'm using is to see it, the signs that you're seeing, as meaning that, the water is moving into a more solidified state. It's now liquid rather than just steam, but I want it to become more solid. So as you focus even more at this point, when you're seeing these signs, when the water is at its liquid state, is when you want to just keep going with what you're doing. What a lot of people do at this point is they trip themselves up at the point of seeing the signs, okay? They think that's the manifestation, or they think the manifestation is coming immediately. Now, it could. I'm not saying it couldn't happen immediately at that point or very quickly at that point, but the thing that you tend to do to trip yourself up is to then, really get into this idea of, oh, it's happening now. And then when it doesn't happen, you get very disappointed and it's like you're halfway across the bridge and you decide to give up and turn around and go back to the other side. Only to then later find yourself frustrated because you have to start the journey all over again across that bridge. So don't turn around in the middle of the bridge, okay? Just because there's a sign doesn't mean that the timing is right yet. You need to stop worrying and focusing about the time, okay? And feeling such an urgent need to have the thing that you want. Just understand that once the water is in that liquid state and once you see those road signs, it's just saying you're heading in the right direction. Keep going, okay? Just keep going at that point. Keep doing what you've been doing. Everything is coming together for you. That's all it means, all right? And then eventually what you have is as you continue to do what you've been doing, following that path towards your outcome, your desired outcome, what happens is you eventually get that full-blown manifestation, that hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it manifestation, where the water becomes a solid form. It turns into ice. Now you can hold it, you can put it in your pocket, you can throw it at someone's face. I don't recommend you do that. But, you know, this is really kind of, this is a great way to help you understand just how this manifesting process works. I want to say something more about this, okay? And again, this isn't a technique or anything, guys. This is just a way to kind of wrap your mind around these concepts, okay? Because sometimes I realize things can get kind of esoteric and a little bit out there and can seem a little woo-woo. And I know all your wonderful high-functioning brains out there just need something to chew on, just give me the proof and give me the thing to look at. I need to see that it's happening. Hey, we're human beings. I do the same thing, all right? It's how our brains are designed. But this is something you can feed your brain, something you can give, like a bone you can toss to your brain to kind of help it understand and wrap itself around these concepts, all right? So understand also, this is another thing I want to say about it, that, you know, in order to move the water from the steam state into the liquid and then solid ice state, is, of course, that you must do what? You must cool it down, right? You must apply. Now, I don't say apply cold to something. It's interesting that we don't say that you must apply cold to something. We usually just say you have to apply heat to something. So you remove the heat. Now, the heat in this story, in this example, in this metaphor, is your resistance, okay? So the heat is your doubt, your self-doubt, your low self-esteem, your thinking, constantly contradicting yourself and contradicting your desire, being very needy and urgent about it, being very desperate about it, being frustrated and impatient all the time. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? The more you do that, the more resistance you apply, the more heat you're applying to that water, the more it remains in that steam state, that hazy state that you can't grasp, you can't hear, feel, or touch. Now, this is a great way to look at it. What do? You remove the heat. You cool off. You chill out, okay? In other words, you relax. You stop trying to push so much for an outcome. You stop trying to micromanage every step of the process. You distract yourself with things that you like to do, that you're passionate about. So you're not sitting around all day thinking about your specific person or that money you want or that thing or where is it and when's it going to get here? Because if you're doing that, it's never going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen. You need to chill out. You need to cool off. So that cooling off is like releasing your resistance. And the more you do that, the cooler the water becomes and the more swiftly it will move into that solid ice state. Okay, guys? So again, this is just, you know, just a different perspective that you can apply to the whole idea and process of manifesting that hopefully will help you gain a better grasp on this stuff and just how it works and why it is that your resistance and your sort of impatience and frustration with the process and then interfering with the process, taking action out of desperation, which you shouldn't do, no, is going to perpetually keep that desire in that dream, hazy steam state, okay? So if you really want to move it into that solid ice state, so you can throw your desire in someone's face. Look, you said I couldn't do it. I got the girl back. I got the guy back. Look, I won the lottery. Ha! Right? That's what we want. We want to be loved and we want to be accepted and we want to feel that we're doing well in life. And we use these things that we want so badly as stand-ins for that, as symbols of that. Actually, ultimately, you're always complete. There's really nothing you need to be more complete. It's just your feeling and your sense of being incomplete for some reason. And again, maybe that's just life that taught you. It was drilled into your mind. And at some point you accepted that as being truth, which is what? That is a belief you adopted, right? Because what is a belief? It's just a thought that you think chronically, that you think all the time until your monkey mind accepts it as being true. But nothing is fundamentally true. You get to decide what is true, and you get to apply meaning and the meaning that you prefer and on any given situation, in any given circumstance in your life, okay? So remember, this is very important. If you want to make ice, you got to what? You got to chill out. If you want steam, then you keep applying pressure and resistance and heat to the water, and you'll continue to have steam. If you want ice, if you want to hold it in your hand, if you want to look at it, if you want to be able to put it in your pocket, then chill out. All right, guys. So I hope that helps you. This is Tarkan, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, hit like if you'd like the cut of my jib. Share this video with anyone that you think might benefit from it. It really helps me out and helps me grow this channel. And also, if you want to leave me a tip, and thank you for everyone who's done so this week. You guys are awesome. There's links for that down in the description box. Also, you'll find a link for my coaching services. And yeah, that's it. That's it for now. Again, have a wonderful weekend, guys, and happy manifesting. And until next time, I'm Tarkan, and I wish you bye-bye.